Babs here, and this is my son Josh.
Hello.
I've invited him to be on this episode of Ask Babs. At first, I was thinking I was going to name this episode Ask Babs number 6 part 2, but I think I've decided I'm just going to name it part 7. And the reason that I was debating the name is because it's kind of a continuation of what I was talking about last episode. Now, the reason that I asked Josh to come on the show with me today is because after I edited and uploaded that video, the comments that I received from you guys sparked a whole bunch more things in my brain about things that I didn't share with you guys. The main question that I want to address in this episode is why should you get a YouTube show started? Remember the last episode I addressed, how to get it started, and I told you the why is a whole different series of answers. And I'll give you the reasons why I started my YouTube show, and then perhaps it could spark things in your brain as to why you want to start yours, and then that way you're going to know if it's even worthwhile. But before we get into that, that's the last question I'm going to answer. It's only like 4 questions, okay? The first thing I want to discuss is equipment. I showed you guys an array of my cameras that I use, and in the beginning I didn't have all those cameras. When I tell you the why I started my YouTube, I'll tell you the story of how I got my first camera. But the first camera has long been given away, and then I went into the Canon family and started buying the different upgrades. And the first one I bought out of my own money, the first Canon, I'll tell you the story of the very first one. And then since then, I don't really think Joe has given me money to buy anything else for the show except maybe like the stove and the fridge. All the rest of the stuff I bought on my own throughout time of saving up my little money, okay? So Josh, I want you to discuss this, what this is. I don't know if you can see it in the, pick it up.
I don't think so. Alright, here we go. What we have here is an external hard drive. This one is 3 terabytes, I believe. I think these are still pretty expensive, the 3 terabyte ones. Only reason we bought this one is because we got it on sale on Black Friday. So if you can catch it on sale, get it. But
what should we pay? Like 80 bucks?
Like 80 bucks when it was on sale.
Yeah, and Joshua was dogging it for me. And tell the reason why we need this, because when I first started, I didn't have one of these for maybe the first 50 episodes of my show. So tell the reason why you suggested that I got that.
Do you still have the first 50 episodes?
No.
There's your reason right there. You need. It's good to.
It was so unplanned.
It's good to have a backup of your episodes, but video can, the file for video can be huge after a while, so it's not good to save it on your
regular desktop, right?
Yeah. Unless you have a really good hard drive in there. But if you're using something like a laptop, like my mom's using to edit, they don't have giant hard drives in there. Yeah, they have maybe at max 100 gigs, and that can go real quick if you're doing video. So you need one of these to hold all your movies. And just like she said, she lost her first 50. It's so you can back up all your things. And just in case YouTube takes down one of your videos because of something, you can always just pull it up on this, re-edit it, and take and change what you need to change.
And the first thing Josh told me too was like, what if there's another company that opens up that's kind of like YouTube, and you want to venture into that venue too? You don't have to go recreate all these videos over, because nothing in my videos is branded by YouTube. YouTube doesn't own any of this content. I own it. And even on the end, I always put on the very end to go check out my other shows. I can always clip that end off, right, in the editing, and put something new to go with if a new channel opens up. Also, he told me that I may just want to go like when I do my opening montage and stuff, I go back into old videos and I pull clips from old videos to make the montage, so you guys, whoever's new to the show, can know what the show is about. Because a lot of the time people will come up on your channel, they don't really know what it's about, and if they see like a little montage playing, going, oh, that's what she does, oh, she did that cake, she did that, okay, then maybe I'll stick around and watch. So I thank Joshua for telling me about this, because I had no idea. If I did, I would have saved the money and bought it earlier. And Joshua says it's going to get to the point where if I do this long enough, there are a lot of people that have been doing YouTube since like 06. And Josh says if you do this long enough, you're going to have this stocked up on a shelf. Yeah, and these are all your files.
I've seen people back it up on DVD back before these became popular, and they've had just books of DVDs. So this is so much more convenient. Plus, if your laptop gets stolen, or your computer dies, your hard drive dies, you still have a backup if you try to keep everything on.
Let's share the story about my sister. She started her YouTube channel and she didn't back anything up except on her computer, right? Because she had a really good computer, and then it crashed and burned, and she took it to, I'm not going to say who, it's the stupid people that say they fix computers.
I want to say it, but...
And she could have just brought it to Joshua originally, but she took it there because she had warranty and all this stuff, and they could not salvage her files, and there were like 50 movies on there. And then she brought the remnants. I mean, Joshua was like, tell them, don't touch it anymore, bring it. And Joshua was able to recover it. And her stuff is still sitting on my hard drive. And I know a lot of people will vlog with their iPhone and edit on the iPhone, and then they upload from the iPhone, and then it's all gone. You're never going to be able to retrieve that file to go back and get things from your past that you've done to show, you know, your body of work, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Isn't it easy to rip video off the new iPhones now?
Yeah, it is. You could just plug the iPhone to the computer, to any of them. It doesn't have to be a Mac, and you could just rip the files off, kind of like I do with my Android phone. So it's easier now to do. So we discussed the external drive, and let's get into copywritten type stuff. Google and YouTube have a lot of rules about not using copywritten material, and they have a lot of songs in their library that they allow you to use when you're doing your YouTube show, especially if you want to do a little opening song or something. My personal advice about that is try not to get into using those, because inevitably somebody else is going to be using it. And I can't tell you how many people's videos I've come across or channels I've come across where I hear this opening theme song with this one person for years, and then all of a sudden this person over here is using it. I'm like, wait a minute, whose show am I watching? I get really, my brain starts seizing out on me and I get confused. So I would say try to pay somebody to create you a little jingle. There's a website called Fiverr.com that I get some stuff done at. But when it came to my jingle, the children in my life did it. Jada and her friends, they were able to create my jingle, and they've been able to revamp it too. And when Joshua gets his channel going, because Joshua has a channel that he's trying to get off the ground, but
I still don't know what I want to do. Eventually, at first I was thinking game reviews, but that's not fun. So
because of all the rules, right?
Yeah, because you got Nintendo going on a tirade, taking down people's videos if you don't bend to their will, and you got indie devs getting strikes against people because you gave them a bad review, so they're really angry, that sort of thing. So it's a lot of, it's not worth the stress. So I'm thinking maybe top 10 videos. Those are real fun if you pick a good subject to go on, you know.
Now, when I was younger, my dad owned a band in Belize, so he really had an idea of protecting your intellectual property. And he discussed that with me when I first started my YouTube, when I didn't really know that it was going to go anywhere. But I listened to him, and within the first few months, I copyrighted my theme song to the Bear Pantry Show. And since then, I've trademarked and copyrighted everything that has to do with the show, because I want to protect my intellectual property. Because, you know, I don't know if other YouTubers have this problem, but I certainly do have a lot of problems with people trying to attack. You know, I really, you would be surprised of the stuff that I go through, and I'm not even popular. I've got, what, 15,000 subscribers? And it's like, why all these attacks? Now, why I created my business. My YouTube is a business. Joshua hasn't created a small business yet with his YouTube because he doesn't really know where it's going to go, and he doesn't know if he's going to get a following till after he starts, yada yada. But the minute I see him get any kind of, let's say above 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to start talking to him about creating his own business. And we are self-employed in a small business, silk screening plastic bottles, so I knew the ropes of opening a small business. And the minute I started my YouTube, October of 2011, all right, so Josh is coming back into the picture. You guys know the routine with this Rebel T3 ad. It stops. I really need a faster speed chip. I have a 48 Mbps, I think it's called. I need like a 64 or something. But in any case, where was I? About creating the business. If you check my YouTube, you're gonna see that I set up my YouTube show in May of 2011, but I really didn't do anything. I just kind of named it and left it parked there, and I started working at it in October of 2011, and by that January 2012, I opened up my business. And I didn't have a lot of subscribers yet. Let me tell you guys something. In the beginning, I didn't even know you were supposed to solicit subscribers. Would you guys please subscribe? I didn't even know you were supposed to say that at the end, till Joshua told me, Mom, you're gonna need subscribers if you want to do this thing. And so that's how I started, you know, doing the call to action on the end. Well, in any case, the reason I created my business that early is because I was selling my cookbooks. And so basically, I knew that I was going to need to report these income that I'm making, and I'm going to need some write-offs. So that's why I created Bear Pantry Show Marketing. So let me get back. Joshua, don't let me forget to tell him why I'm not going to join a network, okay?
Okay.
We're not talking. Right. Let me get back to why I started. Let me get back to why I started my YouTube show. At first, I was writing my Belizean cookbook. The recession was hitting us hard. We were losing everything. We almost lost this house. And our business was failing because our little mom and pop customers were losing their businesses, and so on and so on. And so I decided that I needed to create a product. And I didn't want to create like a shampoo and a conditioner like my customers were bringing to me for printing, because I didn't know how I was going to sell it. I figure if I'm going to sell a shampoo and a conditioner, it has to do something. It has to grow hair or something, you know? And so I didn't know how to market that kind of stuff. So I decided I'm going to do what I know, which is write a book. So I had already written the first book and only sold like maybe 50 to friends and family. So I already knew what route this book was going to go. So I spoke with the publisher. I had a new publisher at the time, and I'm self-published, okay? So it's not like Simon & Schuster or something publishing me. And so the guy told me, well, why don't you start a blog, the written one, not the vlog. And so I went and created the blog. I don't think you guys know, but I have a blog, Bear Pantry Show something. I'm going to have to put a link for you guys to see. And I wrote the first couple of blogs, and I wanted to shoot my brain out. I hated doing it. It brought me no joy, and it just kind of sat there, because you have to promote a blog just like you have to promote a YouTube show. And so I told the kids, I said, I hate doing this blog so much. I've already written the book once. Why do I want to go write again? So that's when they suggested that I do a YouTube cooking show to teach from the book. So originally that's what it was going to be. And so I left church one Sunday, and Joe and I were in our church clothes. We came home in this hot kitchen on a hot summer's day. We made Belizean boil up. That was my first video. I paid Jada like 20 bucks to edit it. Oh, let me go back to the story of the camera. Let me tell you how I got my first camera. I didn't even have a smartphone. I think Jada was the one that had a smartphone at the time. She was the only one that owned a smartphone, because Colin gave her one.
No.
When we started in 2011, you had a smartphone too?
Or did
we had a little green phone,
I think I had a little green phone.
Yeah. So Jada was the only one. Jada's always a sneaky one that brings us into this century, okay? So Colin gave her a smartphone. She was the only one with a smartphone. And I didn't have a camera, so I sold a piece of scrap wool. It was an ankle bracelet that was broken, and I went to the swap meet. I had my little contact because I was selling off my gold, because remember I told you it was a recession. And I sold the gold, bought my first camera. It was a Samsung. The color was beautiful. The sound was atrocious. I did probably the first 100 videos on that camera. Yeah. And I just turned on the regular lights that's in my kitchen, which was the yellow lights, the incandescent or whatever you want to call those. And we did that dinner, and it was hot, and we were sweaty, and Jada edited it to the best that she could, and she used copywritten material for the beginning and the ending from famous artists that I like from the Caribbean. And so after the first 7 videos, Google offered me to do monetization, and they said pretty much you can't have copywritten material. So I had to take those 7 videos down. I took them down one at a time. I never put money on them. They had a lot of views, by the way. I think people were like really searching for Belizean food at the time. And so I took those down one at a time, and I redid them. And I'm glad I did, because they're way better looking now. And that's when Jada and Damien played the guitar, and Jada did, I'll show you guys, I'll insert it right here, the little drums that Jada used. My dad brought these drums for her from Belize, and she kind of beat them, and that's my first little jingle that you guys are probably familiar with. Just recently, I think for the Easter video, which is the cake that I did, I rolled out my new jingle. It's the same song. The kids just kind of revamped it to make it sound like an 1980s theme song, because I love 1980s theme songs from these sitcoms. And so they revamped it. Colin put drums in and yada yada. And so basically that's why I got my YouTube started, because I wanted to promote my cookbook. And it has really done what I set out for it to do, because I think all the book sales that I've had over the past 3 years has been because of this cooking show. You guys have been generous. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. The next reason that I started my show is because we were friends, I'm not going to call names, with these young people. They were like a little bit older than Josh. They were living together as roommates, and they worked for a company that we used to print for. And they were always starving, because, you know, as young kids having to pay the rent in the middle of the recession. So they would call me up and they would say, we don't have any food after we paid the rent. Can you give us food? Well, I didn't have any food either, so I would call them over and make fried jacks or fried cakes for them. And they would eat that for like 4 days and be good, and then they would come back again for more. And so I found out, because I always had flour. I always bought like a 50-pound sack of flour. So if I ran out of anything, I had flour, and we could eat the fried jacks. And so they would come back again 4 days later for more. And then finally I said, let me teach you how to make this. I'll give you some of the flour, because fried jacks is made with flour, milk. If you don't have milk, you can use water, and some salt. You don't even have to put the salt, and some baking powder. That's all that there is. That's all it is to making fried jacks. And so I told them, hey, I'm going to teach you guys how to make fried jacks, because you guys are running me raggedy, you know, trying to make this stuff for you all the time. And so that's when one of the girls said, why don't you go ahead and do it on YouTube? You could do well with a YouTube show teaching people how to make this so nobody has to start. And I really am on a mission to teach everybody how to make Belizean fried jacks or fried cakes so that nobody ever has to starve. Because when we run out of money here, I mean, we're still self-employed at the shop. When we run out of money, we will eat fried jacks with butter or with Velveeta. I know it's not real cheese, but nothing tastes better and feels better than fried jacks with Velveeta cheese when you have nothing else to eat. You go to sleep happy in La La Land, let me tell you that. So that's why I started my YouTube show. I wanted to teach people how to make fried jacks. Really and truly, that's all it was. I didn't care about teaching anything else, fried jacks, and to sell my books. And then I got into it, and I started really, really liking it. The only frustration I had was because I didn't know how to edit. And so Jada taught, you know, like when I went to school, my degree is in radio broadcasting. We edited by cutting with a razor blade into tape and then splicing back with Scotch tape. This is all digital. So Jada taught me, and at first I asked Jada to teach me, and she says, I don't think you can learn this, Mom. It's so hard. Oh, it was on. I'm like, what? And Josh was like, Mom, you can learn it. I think she didn't want me to take away her income because she was milking me for 20 to 25 bucks per video. And I know a lot of people who don't know how to edit their own videos, and they bug people, right, Josh, to edit the videos for them. So learn how to edit. If I don't leave you with anything else, I'm talking to Marie and I'm talking to Terry. Terry, by the way, you can address me as Barbara. My name is Barbara and my nickname is Babs. And I don't answer to anything but Barbara and Babs. I don't answer to Barb or Barbie. I hate those names. Okay? So Joshua knows. So I'm talking to you guys. If you're really thinking of starting a YouTube, I want you to really start. I already told you the how to do it. And I'm telling you the why. So you guys sit down and question, because I know Terry's getting ready to retire. I think Terry's the one that's an artist, Josh.
Okay.
And he's getting ready to retire. He's thinking of starting a YouTube, but you said you didn't want to be under the oppression, I think. Is that what you said? Under the oppression of YouTube? And you're really not, because you do have to follow their rules. And I understand why they have all the rules, because they don't want to like violate anybody's copywritten stuff. But you can leave anytime you want. You're not exclusive to them. If there's another channel that open and you want to take your stuff there, you can go. So you've got the freedom, which leads us back to don't join a network.
Yep. Do not join a network.
Don't join a network. I almost joined a network, and somebody was so kind to spend their time to give me the information that I needed so that I didn't join that network, because they really dangled the carrot in front of me. And let me tell you, for those of you who don't know, let me tell you my understanding of a network. It's like, let's say somebody like Josh opens up a YouTube. He doesn't have any content of his own to really put there, but he's got marketing skills and he's got money behind him. And so he's got maybe investors. And he'll go and solicit people like me and say, hey, I noticed your channel because I've got 15,000 subscribers, so I'm in good standing for most people. I see that you're in good standing with YouTube. You've got a lot of subscribers, you've got faithful viewers, you've got over 100,000 views every month to your channel. Come join my network. So they pull you away from YouTube, and you're still under YouTube to a degree, right? But you're under them.
Yeah, you're locked in them.
So then they take your Google AdSense account over. You have to sign that over to them, and then they give you a percentage of your YouTube money back. Why? Why would I want somebody to take my money to just give me back a portion of my money? I'm not a kid, you know. And some people join a network, you know, I had several people talk to me about it, and they join a network because they promise them they're going to get a lot of subscribers and they're going to get a lot of views. And really and truly, you'll see a surge of subscribers right away. Maybe if you have 15, I'll go up to maybe 20, 22, 25, which would be awesome. But the people don't really stick around and view. And so, you know, basically, I don't see that I would ever join a network, because most of the time they invite me for my cooking show. And like I've told you guys in the last episode, my cooking show is not the channel that's making the money. It's my review channel. And so I personally would never join a network. I see a lot of big YouTubers get up to 200,000 subscribers, and then they think they get into this good business plan and they join a network, and I would never do it. Even the infomercial that I did with that lady Kelly, they don't own any rights to that. I own that whole video. I can cut it up and splice it the way I want to cut it up and splice it. And I made sure that whatever I got into, that I own the rights to everything, because people can have you over a barrel, okay?
Yep, for like a year.
No, 2 years.
2 years?
Most networks are 2 years. Speaking of subscribers, you don't ever want to get into the thing of buying subscribers, okay? I did not even know such a thing existed until someone I know, I'm not going to say if it's a he or she, I'm going to refer to them as they, so I'm going to use wrong grammar for a little bit here. someone I know, I helped them get their YouTube started, set up everything. Didn't teach them how to edit because they don't want to learn to edit. They had me teach several people in their entourage how to edit. And they were doing, I think, pretty decent for 2 years worth of doing videos and getting, you know, a few subscribers here and there, kind of moving at the same pace that I moved at. And then all of a sudden I turned around and that person had like 18 or 19,000 subscribers. They went from like 2,000 to that. Boom. And I was like, what happened here? And then when you check the subscription, it's all like a lot of Russian names and Indian names and stuff like that. So it's
names
not even
numbers.
Yeah. It's just, it really looks weird. So finally that person called me because I hadn't talked to that person in a while. And I asked them, what did you do to get all these subscribers? Teach me the way. And right away they said, I didn't buy any subscribers. It's kind of like when somebody says you're guilty of doing something and you go, prove it.
That just means
That's
you're
a guilty person that says prove it, right? And so they said, I didn't buy any subscribers. So that told us everything that we needed to know right away. And so I don't even know how the buying of the subscribers take place, but I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, they do have some packages where you pay a certain amount of money, right? And then they'll say sub for sub. So you have to go sub to maybe like 300 channels that they'll tell you to go sub at, even if you don't watch. And then those 300 channels are going to have to come back and sub to you, right?
They guarantee you this.
So they guarantee you that like you buy a package of maybe 10,000 subscribers to all your channels, and they guarantee you that you're going to get 10,000 subscribers. And sometimes that's how some of the people are, to where they're real life people, but if I join that network, kind of like one of those chain letter type things or pyramid schemes, you know, if I join this, I have to promise them that I'm going to go subscribe to like 600 people that they tell me to subscribe to, even if I don't like their channel. There are a lot of people that I watch their channel and they'll say, go watch my cousin, go watch my sister. And I never go watch because I don't really like the channel. And so that type, and then they do have the other type of subscriptions where some guy has a big hard drive or something where he has fake accounts. What you said, they're enslaved like zombies?
Oh, they're like zombies, yeah. Yeah,
so they're fake accounts, and then all those accounts come and subscribe to you, and then you really have no one watching. So this person's not making any money in YouTube.
Yeah, you have all these skills.
Then they want to know why. They're like, when you had less subscribers than me, you were making X number of dollars. Why am I not making this? And they were angry. Can you believe? And I was like, because my people are real. You know, I really had to lose it there. Like, my people are real and yours are not. You know, so basically, you don't want to buy subscribers. It's not fair to the rest of us anyways. You're not going to make any money for one. And for two, it's not fair to the rest of us that are working hard on getting subscribers and you know, being loyal and uploading every week and, you know, being consistent and stuff. Because YouTube or Google will give you certain perks at a certain amount of subscribers. And like, for instance, at 10,000, you get to turn on that crowdfunding. What's it called? Fan funding.
Okay.
Fan funding in YouTube where people can donate to your channel. And this person got to turn that on. Well, I don't know if they turned it on, but they have
the option.
They have the option to turn it on and receive money from these, you know, so-called people that are watching. And also, when you hit 10,000 subscribers, you're allowed to go to the YouTube building. It's far away from me. It's in Northern California. But if I were up there and I wanted to meet somebody there and tape a show there, I get to use all that equipment for free because I am a partner and I have over 10,000 subscribers. And if I didn't have 10,000, I wouldn't even be able to set foot in the building. So there are certain perks that you get for having some subscribers, and it's not fair that people cheat. Right, Josh? They cheat the system. So, but it's okay. I'm going to keep plugging away at what I do. And eventually, it'll continue to grow, just like it's been growing for the past 3 years. So, Josh, do you think we covered everything? We covered the copyright stuff, trademark it, don't join a network, why I created the business, saving things to the external drive. And I think that's it. I think I really and truly, you want to say something about this?
I know this goes without saying, like, duh, but don't hit it or bump it when it's on. I've destroyed one like that. I wasn't intentionally trying to hit it, but I bumped it by accident. Yeah,
you're not supposed to leave it plugged in all day long like your computer. You plug it into the electricity, you plug it into the computer, and you pull your drive, your files onto the drive in folders. Oh, I almost forgot something important. When you start your YouTube show, you may or may not want to do this, but for me it was vitally important. You want to delegate right away. Start delegating people at your show. I can't tell you the number of people that I've seen on YouTube that have fallen ill. Because when you start working YouTube, you don't take holidays. When you work for someone, you get holidays. When you're self-employed, like in my business, We get forced into certain holidays because if we don't have anything to print, then we're home. You know, we're on holiday. But on YouTube, you're never off. And you will run yourself into the ground with your health and you'll get sick. So when I started my YouTube, my mom fell ill with the cancer and I had to be there for her while she went through chemo. And so right away, I introduced the rest of my family on the show. And even though Joshua doesn't cook and Jory doesn't really cook, Joe is the cook. I'm the one that has the cooking show, but let me tell you guys something. Joe is the one that really cooks.
Okay? He taught her how to cook at first.
He taught me how to cook, and whenever we have holiday or parties, he will get in there and push me out of the kitchen and take over, and I let him, okay? He is good at it. He loves to do it, and he loves it when the people come back and just praise his food. So I introduced Joe right away. You know, Joe doesn't like really talking on the camera. He doesn't like his accent. He's hearing impaired slightly. So there's a lot of issues, you know, why Joe doesn't really like being on camera. But for his show, he's having fun with it now because I told him, just relax and be you. And I introduced Jada because she can cook. And that way, if I couldn't be there, they could take over and the viewers will not be jarred by it saying, oh my God, she's not there. Who are these people? You guys know them. And so I did that purposefully because of coming from a business background. I already know that if I'm ill, somebody has to take over. I don't ever want to know the job so well that nobody can take over because I'm ill. And then look what happened last year, May 6, 2014. I fell ill with vertigo. And I still have it to a degree. But when I was really, really badly ill, Jada took over and did a few episodes. You know, and so as she propped me in front of the counter there, we did intros and extras or outros. And then she helped me do a lot of the behind the scenes cutting and splicing and sous chef. I mean, you guys don't know that that happened, but because I introduced her and stuff, you guys welcomed her. And so look at the little girl that died, the little makeup artist, Talia Joy or whatever. Nobody took over her channel, and then that's just like sitting there parked. And then even David from the One Pot Chef, he was sick for many, many months and couldn't put up shows. And his friend Rob from Nico's Kitchen is sick right now with vertigo and can't put up shows, or I guess they're putting it up periodically. I haven't checked recently on Rob. But you always want to introduce other people into the show, even if they're not the host or the star of the show, introduce them. Okay, so like Marie, if you're going to start your food channel, introduce Don, your husband. You know, whatever role he can play in it. So that way, if you're sick, Don can take over and run a few episodes for you and people are going to welcome him. All right? So that's just, you know, what we're sharing here with you guys is just what our experience with it. Right, Josh? Mm-hmm. You know, it's not written in stone. And we'll run through really quickly. Joshua didn't know this was going to be on the question. And we're totally ad-libbing here. Run through really quickly what you hate about certain YouTube shows, because I think we kind of hate the same thing.
Okay, music in video. Like a tutorial video teaching someone how to mod a game. Mod a game. Okay, here's what I like. I like the pictures, I like video, and I like people talking and walking me through it. If it's just music, I'm not gonna bother. If it's just music and text, I'm not gonna bother watching it.
The wind's blowing outside, guys. It's blowing over the dog bowl.
I'm not gonna bother watching it. I'm just gonna shut it up because a lot of times it's music that I hate, and people aren't gonna, you know, sit there and listen to music that I hate.
Yeah, music is very subjective, and what you think sounds good might not sound good to somebody else. So my advice is not to put music in your videos, because I watch a lot of people vlogs, and when they start speeding it up, time lapse, and they put music, I shut it off and I move on. I really don't continue watching because it really bugs me. There's only a few songs that they can put on that's really going to put me at peace, and so that's why you have to watch how much music you put in your videos. Another thing too, you're going to find that people are going to be against you that's in your own family. You're going to really and truly find that they're just going to, a lot of the times the bad comments that I received when I first started was from family members. You know, they just like wonder how come I have a cooking show when they know how to cook better than I do, because like I told you guys before, I didn't learn how to cook till I was like 22, 23, and I've been practicing ever since. But I have a cooking show because I was brave enough to branch out there. I was brave enough to learn new things, to learn how to edit, to learn how to control these equipment, to ask questions. No question is a dumb question. You know, I've always been trying to make friends in YouTube with other YouTubers, not because I'm dying to have a friend, but because I want to learn more, and maybe there's something they can teach me, maybe there's something I can teach them. But unfortunately, I don't have any friends in YouTube. There's only 2 people that have talked to me in YouTube that's above me that I've asked questions, David from the One Pot Chef and C.S. Andreas from Chris Saunders, I think is his show. And they've been kind to offer me advice throughout every step of the way. And there are a few people that I've spoken to that have less subscribers than I do, and they've asked me questions and I've shared information. So I don't have any friends in YouTube. I think I'm going to give up on making friends in YouTube. I really am going to give up because they disappoint you. Anyways, guys, thanks for your time. I hope that this helps you in your decision making, in knowing whether or not you should start a YouTube show. In the end, I'm just going to say go for it. I'd really love to see everybody have a career from home that you enjoy. I enjoy doing it, and it's because of you guys. It's because of your feedback, your love, your support, your advice, you know, everything that you guys do. And I have such a faithful following of people, and Joshua says, Mommy, that's nothing new. Everybody has their faithful people, but my people are kind. That's the difference between me and other big YouTubers. My people are kind. They're not like piranhas in the water waiting to attack. And, you know, basically you could be the next YouTube sensation with what you're doing. Don't worry if it's something somebody else is already doing.
Oh, totally. I'm doing top 10s. Everybody does top 10s.
You are unique. You are uniquely designed to do what you're going to do in YouTube.
Yep.
If I can leave you with that, au revoir. Thank you so much for liking the video and subscribing. Please check out my other 2 channels, the product review channel, Bear Pantry Talk, and come have some fun with my family and me over at the vlog channel, Babs Bear Talk.